Hello, fellow safety and health professional, and welcome to another podcast in a series of podcasts based on an article in Safety and Health magazine that's all about you. It never hurts to see the good in someone. They often act the better for it. Nelson Mandela. You spill some red spaghetti sauce on your shirt while eating dinner during a business trip. You graciously excuse yourself and go into the restroom to remove the stain. But you can't get it all the way out. You scrub it, but there's still a stain there. And the shirt is white. Guaranteed, even though it is a new, expensive, stylish shirt, it will bug you that it's been marred with a stain. And people will notice it. They will, no doubt about it. You know, you'll see this little, even if it's just a light stain, even though the rest of the shirt is beautiful, that stain will stick out. And we often do the same when we meet someone. We notice the stain and not their overall positive quality. He talks too loud. She dresses sloppily. They were a standoffish group, or some other, sometimes very minor thing that upset us about the person or we didn't like. However, I dare you to find a person or group who is perfect. Why you cannot is because nobody is perfect. And that has to do with our prejudiced and cherished opinions, which vary from person to person, why we find something that we dislike about almost anything you can. I don't like chocolate ice cream. I don't hate it. I mean, I just don't like it. I never purposely buy or eat chocolate ice cream. So does that mean it is bad or wrong? Of course not. When I can get it, though, my favorite ice cream flavor, believe it or not, is eggnog, which my darling wife thinks is nasty. She goes, I don't know how you can eat that stuff. Is that true that eggnog is nasty or doesn't taste good? No. To my wife, sure, yes, she doesn't like it. But objectively, it's just another flavor that some people like and some people don't. Now, the lesson for you and me is that most character traits other people display that we don't like are as subjective as our ice cream flavor preference. We often beat ourselves up mentally because of our flaws, not just other people's, or what we consider to be chinks in our personality and self-worth. But by focusing on your positive traits and those of others, the world becomes brighter. Yes, some people act mean, even evil, but they are the exception. They might get more attention, but they're still the exception. Because most of us have good intentions and want to do our best. When we don't, it's usually because of influences, some in our control and some are not. Now, here are 3 tips on how to see the best in others and yourself. First, have positive expectations. I've gotten talking gigs that I fretted over because I thought the audience wouldn't like me because I'm from a different culture or, different than theirs. Like when I spoke in Dubai, I was worried that they might not like me because, their culture is way different than mine. New Delhi, the Bronx in New York even here, but not anymore. I don't do that anymore. Now I believe, before I go and speak, that every audience will be receptive. And the same thing goes for when I meet a person for the first time. I expect them to be friendly and open, and that I will enjoy their company. So I strive to notice what I like about them. Sure, sometimes they don't meet my expectations, but I believe because I approach people positively, they respond better. It's easier to notice when you don't like something about a person than what you admire. I think that's because of our innate survival mechanisms. To survive, you got to notice what's wrong in the environment. So that means you've got to make a conscious effort to pay attention to the other person's assets, or at least what you find positive about them instead of what you don't like. Now, this is no rosy glasses viewpoint, because everyone, including yourself, has something positive about their personality and what they contribute to society, and you can look for that. Second thing you can do is to forgive and forget quickly. I've met thousands of people because of my professions. Likely you have too. Even just being any type of safety professional, usually you have to go and interact with a lot of different people. Now, when someone says or does something I find offensive or inappropriate, I strive to quickly overlook it and move on. Yeah, it might bother me for a moment, but I try to say to myself, just forget it. Because have you ever said something that perturbed the person or group listening to you? Of course you have. Did you want them to overlook what you said quickly and forgive you? No doubt you did. That's another reason to notice other people's missteps and move on. You can notice them, barely notice them, and then move on. And lastly, cut yourself a break. Don't focus on your own character flaws and mistakes, and that will make it so you're less likely to do it with others. Now, I hope you aren't insulted by this, but you have character flaws. There's things about your personality that a lot of people don't like, perhaps. I don't mean a lot of people in the sense that you offend everybody, but they're a flaw in your character. I do too, of course I do. And being aware of them is crucial because you want to reduce them or get rid of them. And it's crucial to acting wisely. Well, consider what Socrates, this often quoted wise thought of his that he spoke, and that has been said so many times over the centuries. To know thyself is the beginning of wisdom. Well, it still applies today. But I like to add this. To know thyself, but don't put your mistakes on the main stage, is the beginning of enjoying life. The same thing goes for the people you meet. Notice the positive things more than their flaws. Then they will often act the better for it.